Every single product you own, it exists because of this incredible, complex ballet of machines. But what happens when that music stops? Well, today, we're going to meet the unsung heroes who keep the engines of our entire manufacturing world turning.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. That phone in your hand, the car you drive, everything comes from this massive, hidden world of machines. It's a universe of gears, circuits, and conveyors, all humming along, hopefully in perfect harmony.
So that's the big question, right? When one of those absolutely critical machines starts to sputter, who's the one that steps in to fix it? And here's the thing, it's not just one person, it's a whole team of specialists, and each one has a very, very different job.
All right, let's get right into it. We're going to start right there on the factory floor with our very first hero, the machine operator. Believe me, this is where all the action is.
This quote just nails it. It's so easy to think a machine operator is just some person pushing a button, but that couldn't be further from the truth. They're a builder, a mechanic, a craftsman, even a quality inspector, all rolled into one person. We're talking about the super versatile, multi-talented front line of the whole operation.
So what do they actually do? Well, their job is all about immediate, hands-on action. They're the ones making sure there are enough raw materials to keep the line fed. They're doing routine maintenance, safety checks, all the crucial stuff. But really, you can think of them as the first responders. When a machine goes down, they're the ones who jump in to get it running again, making sure production doesn't miss a beat.
Okay, so fixing things when they break is obviously super important, but that's only half the battle, isn't it? The real goal is to stop things from breaking in the first place. And that question, well, it takes us up the chain of command. Because a really efficient factory can't just be about reacting. It has to be about predicting.
And this right here shows that massive shift in thinking. You're moving away from a purely reactive mindset, oh no, it's broken, fix it, to a proactive one, which is all about designing strategies and procedures so those breakdowns, hopefully, never even happen. So, this brings us to our next expert, the maintenance engineer. This is the person who really builds that more resilient, more reliable system. This is where the big picture, long-term thinking really starts to kick in.
The key word here is continuous. See, a maintenance engineer's job is to make sure the equipment is always running. They're not just sitting around waiting for an alarm to go off. They are literally the architects of reliability. They're the ones designing the whole system to prevent failures before they start. And if you look at their duties, you can see how much more strategic they are. We're talking about designing maintenance strategies, diagnosing the root cause of problems, not just the symptom. When something does go wrong, they're not just slapping on a new part, they're figuring out where to get specialist components, doing quality inspections. This is all about making the entire factory stronger at a system level. Okay, so you've got a great plan. But a plan is just a piece of paper, right? Who actually leads the team? Who manages the money and the parts to make it all happen? This brings us to the final, critical piece of the puzzle, moving from the systems themselves to the people who run them.
And that brings us to the top of the pyramid, our big picture leader, the maintenance manager. If the engineer is the architect, the manager is the conductor of the entire orchestra.
This quote really gets to the heart of what a manager does. It's all about foresight. They're trying to spot those tiny problems and fix them before they turn into huge, expensive ones. Because let's be honest, major maintenance work costs a ton of money and comes with a lot of risk.
And you can see exactly how they do that when you look at their workflow. First, they develop the procedures. Then, they plan and oversee all the activities on the floor. They're keeping a close eye on the budget and the inventory of parts. And of course, they're managing the whole maintenance team. And wrapped around all of that is making sure everyone is following health and safety rules. They really are conducting the whole show.
Okay, so now let's put it all together and see the big picture. Because these aren't just three random jobs. They're three perfectly interlocking parts of one really powerful system.
This chart just breaks it down so clearly. You've got the machine operator, right? Their focus is on that one individual machine. Then the maintenance engineer zooms out to look at the entire system. And finally, the maintenance manager zooms out even further to the team and the budget. You've got the hands-on skills, the analytical brain, and the strategic leader. And they're all aiming for slightly different but totally connected goals, keeping things functional, making them reliable, and driving overall efficiency.
And that, right there, is the most important thing to remember. Maintenance is not one job, it's a whole ecosystem. It goes from the single machine to the system to the team. And if you pull any one of those pieces out, the whole thing just grinds to a halt. That's why these unsung heroes are so incredibly vital.
So this leaves us with a really interesting question to think about for the future. As automation gets more and more advanced, the need for these human experts doesn't just vanish, it actually evolves. The machines might change, sure, but the need for smart, creative problem solvers, that's never going away. So the real question is, who's going to be maintaining the machines that maintain everything else?